you can buy a Movado watch in Sam's.
If you do have your own side hustle as a pastor, as a priest, now you have your own flow of money. So you're not exactly tied down to the church's money. It's a beautiful day. We're looking for something fun to do. Hey, baby, subscribe to the channel. And of course, welcome to Say It With Chess. It's your girl, Daddy Sims.
And Johnny Tama, I'm sorry, that took me off track. Like, what? You're now a singer?
Well, no,
what?
no.
Should we have Kenganda records?
Of course. Oh my God. Actually, you know what? Bookmark that idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Anyway, tell the people what Say It With Chest is all about.
Say It With Chess is the most controversial show on, African YouTube for the most part.
Yeah. No, we're international, babe.
Okay.
International.
We're the most controversial show out there.
Put some respect on our show.
We react to the most trending,
controversial.
I feel like we've said controversial so many times.
Okay,
the point is,
if it's trending, we're going to talk about it and we're going to react to it.
If it's on the internet, if it's scandalous, whatever it is, we're going to react to it. So today's video is of a pastor who preaches misinformation.
Let's watch this. Okay?
Let's watch it.
See, that's how I know you still poor, broke, busted, and disgusted, because of how you've been honoring me. I'm not worth your McDonald's money. Come on. I'm not worth your Red Lobster money. I ain't worth your St. John knit. Y'all can't afford it no how. I ain't worth y'all Louis Vuitton. I ain't worth your Prada. I'm not worth your Gucci. Mother, I'm saying this, and I promise you, Deacon, it's not with respect of want. I'm saying it because I want you to understand just what God is saying. I even found out that Movado, you can buy a Movado watch in Sam's.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
And y'all know I asked for one last year. Here it is the whole way in August. I still ain't got it. Y'all ain't saying nothing. Let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sons and daughters.
Pastor is tired, like T-A-Y-A-D, tired, like, oh my God.
Pastor said, let me kick down the door and talk to my cheap sheep. Is it cheap sons and daughters?
First of all, Mr. Preacher, father, sir, you know, there is only enough room for one daddy on this podcast, and that's clearly me. And
Daddy
you
Sims?
are just making a lot of noise about
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk about the fact that even my mom, respectfully, even my mother, is not entitled to my McDonald's money. That's for me.
That's
Who do you think you are, Pastor?
Right? No, he said he wanted a watch.
Money. A Movado,
and he didn't get it, and it's like
Gucci is too good for him.
Yeah,
what?
no, he meant to say like people spend on Gucci and yet they could be spending that money on him. He's like asking them, so I'm too good for your Gucci or something like that. Either way, but you know what? And this damn church is becoming a business.
It is.
Let's take it back to the Bible.
Okay.
Before,
you
don't remember the time Jesus came into church and then he found all these people selling things outside, and then he had to like turntables and whatnot. Yeah, because it's saying that the house
when you
of
say
God.
Jesus turntables, you make it sound like he was a DJ.
Turntables. They literally lifted the tables and threw whatever was there. But yeah, you know, like it says church is church, you know, like there needs to be a clear line. But obviously, you know, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, but I do go to a church also. You know, God is God. You know, you need to go where God is. You know, but I also believe it's written somewhere. You know, she's already saying, "Oh, quote it. Can you quote the Bible?" But like, I just know it's somewhere in the Bible where it says that the congregation or the flock has to look after the people of God. You know, so maybe his delivery wasn't
the best.
Yeah, and just came off so entitled because people are struggling, you know, like in Uganda we have people in the villages who give all the money to churches.
Yeah,
they give all the money to churches and they just keep getting poor. They just keep getting poor because this person, the apostle at the church, is telling them, oh, you know what, bring 100,000, that's like $26 each week or something, then your blessings are going to increase. I don't feel, you know, like it doesn't work like that. Let me know what you think.
Now, I don't believe in religion. Just, I'm gonna put it out there. I believe in God. I believe that there is a creator. I just don't believe in the religion. I feel like religion is a man-made concept that basically.
What religion were you before?
so my family follows the Islamic faith. Okay? Now, this is part of the reason as to why I stopped believing in religion. So there's a lot of misinterpretation. The way you read the Bible is not the same way I'm going to understand a specific verse of scripture or anything.
True.
So the pastor that we as a church elect, and we're like, okay, this is the guy who we want to decode the Bible to us. This is someone that, you don't just pick a pastor that you like. You pick someone who's understanding, you think you can follow, someone who you think, because this is someone who's...
It helps to like the pastor.
Well, it does. It does. But you're not just picking someone for, like, you're not just going to go and be like, okay, yeah, you know what? I like my dad, so my dad's going to be the pastor.
Oh, yeah.
You get it. It also, there's a certain level of understanding you need, because this person has to read the book of God and has to leave their bias, their personal bias or anything away and actually interpret the message like, guys, based off my understanding, I feel like this is what was trying to be said.
Yeah.
Now, the reason as to why I don't really agree with religious prophets and preachers and stuff like that sometimes is because they tend to change the meaning and the interpretation based off something that would, benefit them based off their personal interests and their benefits and stuff. In this specific message, let's say what you said, which is Jesus said, look after, people of God, people of the church, people of God. He didn't say put a price to it. Like everyone come through and be like, he didn't.
Some LV.
No.
Some Movado watch.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah. People have to do they have to do certain things from their hearts. Do you get it? Like, I need to want to, obviously, let's say there's like, specific church contribution, which is like every Sunday on mass, we're gonna hand around like a bucket or something, and people put in a basket, and people put in whatever they have. But you don't just go out there and be like, okay, so someone promised me a Movado watch and it's August and I still haven't gotten it. Like, bro,
like, where's the watch? But speaking of people, one thing is that if you're a true Christian, you need to know about your tithe. You need to give your 10%. Listen. You need to give your 10%. Your 10.
And why do you do this?
No, just because it's in the Bible.
Yes, but why do you do it?
I don't have a why.
Okay, I'll tell you why.
The real why.
I'll tell you why. So first of all, a church is the house of God. Right? And unfortunately, it's a man-made house of God, which means it's not eternal. It's not just going to stay there forever and its foundation is never going to break. The church has bills to pay. You got to pay for that fancy piano that goes like
rent.
You got to pay for like the electricity, the light bulb, so that you can get good lighting in the church. You got to pay for the water. You got to pay for, just rent. Some people rent churches, like the land that the church is on. They don't own the land.
Building.
So the church has to progress somehow. And it's not like God is going to give you this money in cash and be like, here you go, this is for maintaining my house. Do you get what I mean? Like, people have to be paid. The security has to be paid to watch the church and everything. That money has to come through offertory of everyone combined. These are good Christian people who want the church to stay. So you have to put it in. That's why you put in the 10%.
The
you
10%.
do not put in the 10% so the priest can get Gucci. It's not for the priest, it's for the church.
You saying all that has made me realize the why. The why is so that you can keep building the church of God. That's why you need to give in your 10%.
That's why.
But then offertory is also different from your 10%. Your 10% is from your earnings. The money you make or the money that you work for. That 10% needs to go to the church. And then offertory, when you're at church, it's a Sunday. I mean, what are you going to do? Just sit there and let the basket go by? I mean, you could, but churches are now different, right? Because you can give to the basket, you can give mobile money, you can give a bank, you can give from the bank. Like the ways they make it so easy and convenient for people to give money. You understand? But I definitely do. I'm a firm believer in giving you 10%, because when the money you give to build God's church is also going to build you up. I'm just saying, if you're generous with God, I mean, what could go wrong? That's just my opinion.
And that 10% is also used in situations where, there's many children who get dropped off at the doorstep of the church.
And the church has to look after them.
Exactly. So that's put into, their tuition fees, their upbringing, their upkeep, and all that stuff. Now, here's the reason as to why I personally stopped going to places of worship.
Tell us.
Exactly. Now, like I said, I'm a believer of God, and like like you said, you have to go to God's house. So for me, God's house is the temple, the church, the mosque, whatever, wherever people pray. That is God's house at the end of the day. So why I stopped going to places of worship is because it became a popularity contest more than you just going there to pray. It became, oh my God, look at what she's wearing.
Fashion show.
It's like she's worn the same outfit for the same 3 Sundays. And you're like, this is my Sunday best. Like, this is what I can afford.
Yeah.
Do you get it? Whereas there's families out there that come through and they're like dripping, and you see someone coming through with like a lot of bling to the church.
It's the cars that get me.
Literally, the cars. No offense. This is why there's like this one story of the priest whose church got robbed.
Yeah.
You were out there flashing ice. How do you think you're not going to get robbed? People come to church to rob because they know people have money.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean? Like so many big people come to church just to flex. And that makes people who are not able to do that feel like they don't fit in.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
But I feel like, no, I get what you mean, but I feel like you just need to go to church for yourself. You need to shut everybody down, how you look, what you're driving. You need to shut it all down and just go there for God. It's you and God. It's your time with God. But I do understand it's human nature to, look around and sometimes feel a certain type of way. I do understand that.
No, it's not just that. Let me put it this way. If you were the only, let me say, middle class to lower class person going to a church of like the wealthy and the rich, even your small contribution amounts to nothing. Like you feel like it amounts to nothing because while people are out here actually signing checks worth millions of dollars, you're like putting in like cents. No, because that's what you have. You should know
that, because that's what you
have.
Exactly,
and that's what I'm saying. Churches have become popularity contests. It's about who's giving more because
it's about how you see it. Honestly.
No, actually, let me tell you why. Because you will see pastors and priests and preachers and all that stuff favoring certain people over the others.
Okay, that exists.
Have you ever gone to a church and they tell you that the front seats are reserved?
Yeah.
Reserved for
like
who?
The ministers who come to the village for Christmas.
Reserved for who?
The ones who are giving the money. Yeah.
In God's house, you're all supposed to be equal at the end of the day. So that favoritism and all that, it creates a disconnect in religion. And because of that disconnect, I would rather just pray from home because I know my message is going to reach God either way. So that's my take on the whole matter. Religion.
Yeah, but you have to do what you can, to connect with God and whatnot. But just speaking about, they're now called pastorpreneurs. They're pastors and entrepreneurs. So they even sell their merch in church. Like,
are you serious?
God's favorite or blessed, something like that. Like merchandise in church. They have courses now. They have apps. You can now join, you can subscribe to the apps. You can subscribe to the Bible studies. That's all money and whatnot. But that's how they're making a living. Pastorpreneur. I don't know how I feel about it.
Let me just ask you a question. Should and this is gonna determine this entire conversation.
Okay.
Should a pastor's only job be to preach? Do you think that would help sort out the issue? Like your main duty is to preach the word of God.
I think it's up to the pastor. They can pray about it and let God guide them. But I think ideally it wouldn't be bad if they had a side thing. Because I went to a Catholic university and we had priests, but they were lecturers and then they were also priests. So they were getting income from lecturing and maybe doing some administrative work and then also doing the whole priesthood thing. So with Catholics it's different because you just can't be a priest. You be a priest with something else. But I don't know about other churches.
And do you think that kind of helps? Because most of the times it's like if you do have your own side hustle as a pastor, as a priest, now you have your own flow of money, so you're not exactly tied down to the church's money.
I definitely think it helps. It does help because you're not even getting temptations to maybe steal and maybe talk to the rich person and take him on the side and tell him your problems. It does help. It definitely does help. I think it's wise. But then what about the pastorpreneurs who are selling their merchandise in church, their shirts, their courses and their apps?
Bro, find a side hustle that's not related
to church. Exactly. No, but that is the side hustle. It just so happens that the church are the customers.
Well, does any of that money or those proceedings go back into the church now?
Now that's where it gets tricky. I don't know if it's that personal money or it's church money.
If you're going to use the church to make a living, then some of that money has to go back into the church. Otherwise, find a side hustle that has nothing to do with the church and all that money remains with you. Do not benefit off the church if it's your personal thing that you got going on. That's just my take on it.
this was a touchy.
It was
a tricky one. We're like,
it was.
Where do we step? But we love God.
I said it with chest. I said it with chest.
I was like, okay, she's risking it all.
Yeah.
But guys, tell us what you think in the comment section and follow us on all our social media pages. Kenganda Nation on Instagram, Kenganda Nation on Facebook, Kenganda Nation on Twitter. Hit the bell for notifications.
Yep.
Subscribe. Also follow us on our personal, platform.
Daddy Sims, yo, come on.
And Janita Maya, both Instagram and YouTube.
Yep.
We'll see you guys next time.